All right, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here. We have Gigi on the show today.
Hey, y'all.
We're excited to have you. Finally, you're here. Everybody wants to hear your story. So, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Gigi. I go by GeGeBuysFlorida, and I'm a local real estate investor.
So, you wholesale real estate?
I do.
Okay, so how long you been wholesaling real estate?
This past December, well, we're in December. December 4th made it 11 months.
11 months in the game.
11
Okay,
months.
so you're a newbie.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so we got a newbie in the house, all right? So, tell us, tell me about your background. Like, what kind of work were you doing before you started wholesaling real estate?
Well, before I was in the health field, I was doing pharmacy work. Then I was doing sales, and then I started wholesaling.
Okay, so you were basically working retail jobs, right?
Yeah, for the past 5 years.
Okay, so you've been in retail for the last 5 years, and you don't have any real estate experience, like
None whatsoever.
you don't have your license,
Nope.
nothing.
Nope.
Okay, so you just jumped into wholesaling with no
Pretty
experience. All right, y'all hear that? No experience.
None.
Okay. All right, so you've been in retail. You decided to get in wholesaling. So how has this year been going?
This has pretty much been a great year. I pretty much dived all the way in.
Okay, so tell us. Let's start with your first deal. Tell us how it was. How did it go? And walk us through like the whole process of you getting your first deal. What kind of deal it was? Everything.
Okay. So I started wholesaling January 4th of 2020.
Okay.
I remember sitting on the couch. Told Mr. I Trap Houses to give me a shot at doing wholesaling.
Right.
And at first he was hesitant. He was like, it sounds easy, it looks easy, but it really isn't.
Okay.
So I was like, just give me a try. I'm very optimistic, by the way.
Right.
So I remember going in the office. I called this guy. He was in Vegas. It was a tax delinquent.
Tax delinquent. Okay.
Yes, tax delinquent.
So you cold called him.
I cold called him.
All right. So you had no experience on the phone.
None.
You just cold called them, and basically you were going off my coaching.
Correct.
As far as the script and everything. All right, so keep going.
Now, at first, I was nervous. So yeah, I called him, got on the phone, and I was, gave him the script, and he told me yes. And I remember running out of the office.
Right.
And I was like, listen, there's someone on the phone that has a deal.
Right.
And at that point, I didn't know what else to do. So, of course, you pretty much walked me through, like, with the offer, tell him, hey, where's the property located? We need to see it.
Right.
The whole rodeo. And then, he accepted the offer, and my first deal in 2 weeks.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So you started cold calling. It took you 2 weeks to get your first deal.
2 weeks.
Wow, that's tremendous because I get a lot of people DM me. I run into a lot of people who are inspiring to get into wholesaling, who want to get into wholesaling. They've been trying, and it's like they're spinning tires, and they've been cold calling, trying for months, and they got nothing. But you were able to get your first deal in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I was hyped.
Tremendous. All right, so how much did you make on that?
The first deal I made $6,000.
All right, so in about 2 weeks you made $6 grand.
$6,000.
So how did it feel?
I was like, I should have started this a long time ago.
Okay, so you got your first deal under your belt. So let's go back some more. No, let's fast forward. So that was in end of January.
Correct.
You got your first deal. So tell us how long before you got your next deal, or throughout the year, how has it been going since that deal? Year to date, how many deals do you have?
7.
All right, so you got 7 deals in
11 months.
11 months. That's rocking and rolling. All right, so talk about the other deals and like how the year's been going. Like, has it been perfect? Has it been hard? Like, talk about the whole process of doing this on a regular, but also doing a tidbit. You were doing this part time.
Correct. So on top of this, I was doing this part time. I had my full time job. So
Okay.
on my days off, I was pretty much researching, writing it in my notebook, and then calling the next day.
Okay.
And after that, after the first deal, I got my second deal, I want to say a month and a half later.
Okay.
And that was off of a probate. And then I found that probate was my thing because the deals just started coming with probate. But the second deal, cold call again, and they accepted, went to him, say, hey, what's the offer?
Yeah.
How can we run the numbers?
Yeah.
Because I don't know the piece about running numbers, and he walked me through, and boom,
Okay,
they
so
accepted.
you found another deal maybe like a month and a half later.
Correct.
Okay, it was a probate.
Correct.
I call you the probate queen because you're good at probates. So you've been finding deals. Now, has it been perfect? Did you go in a slump? Did you get discouraged? Talk about that.
Well, I did go in a slump. Now, the first 2 deals, you know, they were easy. I was like, okay, I got this. And then I want to say around midsummer, I was like, I don't think this is for me, because I was like, where's the deals coming? I was calling people. They kept telling me no. I mean, they were yelling at me, cursing me out, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I can't do this no more.
Okay, let me stop you right there. So when you're in a slump, what do you think was happening, or what was going on? Like, what do you think was causing the slump, or you think it was just a part of the whole process of you're not going to get every deal, you had to go through those no's? Could you go into a little more detail?
Well, I can honestly say I thought it was too good to be true. I was like, there's no way I'm making this much money this fast with no experience.
Okay.
And of course, I had the security of a full-time job, and I was like, oh, you know, I get my paycheck every 2 weeks. I don't know when the next check's gonna come. So I was hesitant about, you know, diving all the way in. And then of course with the no's, I was like, no one's gonna tell me yes. So I was like, you know what? Let me just hang up the phone. Let me not do it. But I learned from him. Of course, every no that you get, that means you're closer to a yes, which I am.
Right. So so you were in your slump. Let's say what, a couple months you were in the slump?
It was 2.5 months, almost 3.
Okay. So you were in the slump. You was questioning yourself, like, is this for me?
Really?
You know, and this happens. You know, I know y'all newbies, and just if you've been in wholesaling for a while, you can get discouraged. You know, it's a tough business. People think, you know, just wake up, roll out of bed, and bam, they're gonna get a deal. It does not work like that.
Not at all.
It does not work like that. Now, you have been having tremendous success. You know what I mean? You got 7 deals this year. So let's talk about your breakthrough. This breakthrough you had. So you made $34,000 in 2 weeks.
Sure did.
Correct?
Sure did.
Now, a lot of people are going to hear that, and they're going to see this video, and they're going to be like, how did she do it? Before we start talking about the deals, what do you want to say led up to that? Because currently we're in the first week of December. All right, so this happened from Thanksgiving, basically, when you got the phone call.
Correct.
From Thanksgiving until now. So what do you think led up to you getting these deals that made you all this money? And talk about how you've been, you know, persistently following up with the sellers.
Well, first, I mean, the pep talks help, because he's constantly giving me a pep talk, because once you get in your head, I get in my head a lot. So that is true.
Right.
Following up is pretty much what led me to one of my huge success.
Right.
For the 34,000. I was pretty much on these people, like literally. I don't care if I'm blowing up your phone, texting you, calling you, not answering my calls. I'm still gonna call. But I remember the first deal that led to it. I was at work on my break.
Okay.
And it was the last hour before I clocked out. And I was like, you know what? Let me go through this probate list again.
Okay.
And when I went through the probate list, it was the last hour, and I called this lady.
Right.
And sure enough, she was like, you know what? I am actually looking to sell my house. And at first, I was like going through everything he taught me, like, you know, first is making the call, second is the appointment, third, you know, is making the offer. 4, they accept it, and then 5, boom, we closing.
Right. Well, no, the contract is last.
Contract is last. Right.
So let me clarify. So 4 steps to this business is your marketing. So whether if you're cold calling, you're mailing people, you're texting. All right, that's step 1. All right, so you're marketing to the seller. Step 2, when they say yes, you set the appointment to go check out the property, see the condition of the property. Step 3 is the offer.
Correct.
Okay, so right here from step 3 to step 4 is the hard part. It's getting the offer accepted, having your numbers right, and step 4, getting the contract signed. So this deal that you got, so this first one, it was 3 deals basically. So this first one you made 10 grand, right? And it was basically your easiest deal of the year.
Easiest.
Now, you have been pounding the probate list.
Yes.
Pounding for maybe 4 months prior, because you had got 2 deals off the probate list, and you was getting nothing. Now, before you got these deals, would you say you had a healthy amount of potential deals in your pipeline?
Oh yeah, sure
Right.
did. Sure did.
So talk about how you, even currently, you might have maybe I don't know, how many deals do you think you have that are warm to hot leads that are just sitting there, just a matter of time before the seller sells?
I would say between 5 and 10 for sure.
Right. So basically, you got so many potential deals in your pipeline, and you're constantly following up with these people, which is the key. All right. I want y'all to follow up, but you followed up, and we're going to discuss that on these next 2 deals. Mm-hmm. So the first deal, you made 10 grand.
Yep.
It went smooth. It was done in 2 weeks. You got it off the probate list.
Yes.
And how was the appointment? How did the appointment go? It was slam dunk, right?
Yes, the appointment. Oh, key thing. So we went to the appointment, and the seller pretty much said she received previous offers. So at that point, before we even went to the appointment, we already knew we were going to offer the seller.
Right.
So when I asked her, and she told me that they offered her $145,000, I looked at him. I was like, "Listen, we got this."
Right.
And sure enough, right then and there, because they lowballed her, we were able to pretty much lock the deal in because we were already offering her more.
All right, so I made a mistake. You didn't make 10,000 on this one. You made 20,000.
Correct.
Sorry, I got it wrong. Let me clarify. All right, so yeah, so it was an easy deal. Like you rarely get those where you call, they say yes, you make the offer, they accept. It was like what you call a unicorn. You're rarely going to be getting these throughout the year, but that was one of them, and that was a good job on that. All right, so the next one is so you got this one the following week. This guy, I remember him. He was so harped up on a higher price, and
Correct.
I guess he came to realization he wasn't going to get that.
Correct.
So tell us what kind of lead it was. Mm-hmm. It was a
Tax delinquent.
Okay, and you made how much?
I made 10,000.
10,000. All right. So how long you had been calling this guy?
I started calling this guy February 18th of 2020.
Okay.
Talk about a follow-up.
So you've been following up with him for literally 9 months.
9 months.
9 months. Now, you reached out to him the first time, and what happened?
He did not respond.
Okay. So bam, there you have it. All right. So I don't want y'all making excuses about, oh, they told me no, I can't get him on the phone. You have your list, okay? You got the phone numbers, whatever, okay? If you don't get it the first time, reach out again. There's no rule that says you can't reach out multiple times, okay? So you reached out the first time,
Correct.
Nothing. So I think we got in the property around June.
Correct. June.
All right, so we got in the property, and how much did he want? He wanted
He wanted 220,000, and it was
All
no.
right. So literally, he wanted 220, and we got him down to, I want to say 178.
178.
All right. So tell us how he just, he kept reaching out to you,
Yes.
saying, "Let's do the deal," and you're like, "No." And I kept telling you, like, look, he's saying he wants 200,000. The deal does not work at that number. So here's another rule and another nugget. Do not force deals.
Correct.
If the numbers don't work, they don't work. So he kept reaching out to you. He kept texting you saying, "Hey, let's make the deal happen at 200." And you kept saying,
I said, no, it doesn't work for our business model.
Right.
And I mean, hopefully if he comes to a reasonable price, we can make something happen. But if push comes to shove, it's not going to work.
so he finally came around.
Correct.
And we got the deal done.
Correct.
All right. So now let's talk about this last deal that I feel was your actual breakthrough. You started having success, but you had to go through a rough deal. And you didn't make a ton of money, but you learned a lot and you gained a lot of experience. So let's talk about this last deal. What kind of lead was it?
So this was a tax delinquent.
All right. It was a tax delinquent. And how long you been reaching out to the lady?
9 months.
So another 9-month deal, okay? And in real estate, there's an old saying, there's long paydays.
Yes.
Very long. So it took you 9 months.
9 months.
You only made $4,000.
Correct.
But you gained a ton of experience and you learned how to negotiate. So
Yes.
walk us through what happened with this last one.
So with this last deal, I was pretty much contacting this lady since February. I was talking to her sister, could never get in contact with her.
Right.
We finally got in contact with her, and she let us in the property in October 23rd.
Okay.
And now that appointment, it was actually in the evening, so we got to talk about that too.
All right, so hold on. So this is a rookie, I don't want to say a rookie mistake, just something that I had to learn too, but I went on an appointment at nighttime. Don't ever do that. And we're going to tell you why, but keep going.
So we went to the appointment. Everything went good. It was a great neighborhood, and he already knew that we were going to get it.
Right.
Now, of course, we gave her the offer, and she pretty much waited. You know, she was thinking about it, and then, of course, Thanksgiving weekend, she pretty much reached out to me and said, "Hey, Gigi, do you want to go over this offer?" And I was like, "What?"
Right.
And we ran outside, and we started talking. And after a while, she said she accepted the offer.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right, so you have been cold calling her since February.
Correct.
Okay, we finally got the appointment in October.
Correct.
So that means you stuck with her.
Yes.
All that time. So we went on the appointment back in October. I don't know the exact date. So maybe a month later,
yes,
she takes you out the blue and said, "Hey, let's do the deal."
Correct.
Which was exciting. All right. Now let's talk about what happened after we got the contract signed.
So,
yeah.
Once we got the contract signed, of course, because we saw the property at night, he was like, "We need to go look at the property again, to take better pictures of the front and on the side, of course."
Right.
Now, once we got to the property, of course, my heart started beating fast because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And as soon as we pulled up, he was like, "The roof is shot." I was like, "What?" But we already offered her. So I was like, okay, I already knew money was coming out. So we got out the car, we started walking, then we walked on the side of the property, and the whole side of the property was gone. And
so basically we went on an appointment in October. It was so dark we could not see the roof. We couldn't see the condition of the roof. And we didn't see on the side of the house, one of the walls, it's completely missing. All right, so I did not take this into account for the repair amount. So, which caused what to happen?
So at this point, we had to renegotiate the price, and
right. So basically, I had it at price, and I shopped it to literally 10 cash buyers. Everybody said no.
Yep.
So we had to. Hey, so what happened? I gave you that talk like, look, this is a part of it. So you had to go back to this lady, which you gained a ton of rapport with.
Correct.
Y'all were literally building a bond.
Yes.
Sort of. Y'all were friends. She was happy. All of that. And now you got to go back on your word on what you promised her on the price. How was that?
So, when he called me and told me that I had to call her and go down on the price, I was like, is he serious right now? Because this lady and I were on the phone. We both were crying, screaming, for joy because, this was a breakthrough for her, starting a whole new chapter, and she was looking forward to selling this house at the price we gave her. Now, when he told me that, I was like, I can't do it because every time we have to negotiate, I always send the sellers to him. So at this point, I had to put my big girl panties on, and sure enough, I called her, and she was like, "No." She said, "No, I'm not accepting no price change. She's just gonna list it." And at that point, I was on the phone. I was like, "Oh my God, all I'm hearing is no's."
Right. So let me jump in. So basically, we had to get the price down because every cash buyer said no at the price we had it at. So you went for a $10,000 reduction.
Yeah.
Right? And you could not get it.
No.
And originally when she told you no, what did I tell you?
You said, "Hey, well, tell her, you got to be realistic about the situation.
Right.
The roof is shot, the side of the house, there's more work that needs to be done on the property." And even with me telling her that, she still was like, "Yeah, I understand the roof, is a little bit shot, but I'm not taking the $10,000 reduction."
All right, so we couldn't get it down 10,000. You were discouraged.
I was.
You was heartbroken. I told you to give it a day or two, and I felt like the deal wasn't going to cancel. We had to come to a medium. But you had to learn this for yourself.
Correct.
I knew she was going to renegotiate, but I wanted you to go through it yourself so you can handle these type of situations. It does happen. I mean, we're not perfect. My numbers are not perfect all the time, You know, there's going to be mishaps here and there, but you got to know how to, hey, come back to that seller and say, look, Mr. Seller, I know we promised you whatever, $150,000, but you know, after the inspection and looking at everything, we got to come down $10,000. And this is what you got to do in this business if you want to be successful. So tell us what happened, I think, the very next day.
So before we even go to the next day, when she told me no,
right,
we did a previous wholesale deal that we saw literally from a horrible condition, and then boom, it looked so nice.
Right,
in the midst of that, I sent her all the pictures. Like, listen, this is what the property looked like in the beginning, and this is what it came out to look like afterwards. And she was like, oh, this is nice. So at that point, I was starting to wheel her back in. Like, listen, I know you said no, but this is what we can make happen. Okay. So at night, I pretty much text her saying, hey, I know you said no to the $10,000. Maybe we can meet in the middle.
Right.
And of course, she was still like, no. And then she was like, you know, she was pretty much tired from signing the previous contract.
Right.
And I said, well, hey, just sleep on the offer I gave you, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Good night.
Okay.
Now, the next morning, at 6:25 in the morning, she texted me. She was like, hey, if you can make it happen at this number, we got a deal. And at that point, I was still negotiating. Like, listen, it's still not going to work for us there.
Right.
We need to take another $2,000 off. And she was like, okay, fine. And boom, she accepted the offer and another signed contract.
Okay, so basically what you did, which is a strategic tactic, you sent her a previous deal we did this year where the house had already been flipped.
Correct.
So you sent her the before and after pictures, and you're like, hey, look, Mr. Seller, look at this house. Look what we did to this one. This is what we want to do to yours, but in order for it to happen, we needed it at this price.
Correct.
And that was a little leverage for you. You were able to get it down. Now, we do try to make $10,000 on each deal.
Yes.
But you didn't make $10,000. You made $4,000, which is better than nothing. $4,000 better than zero.
Correct.
Okay. But tell us what you learned from that deal. And do you feel like this was probably your breakthrough?
Yes, it definitely was my breakthrough. I learned not to take no for an answer.
Okay.
I learned that, you know, being optimistic definitely goes a long way.
Right.
Building rapport is key. Because if I didn't have that, you know, moment with her where we were pretty much talking about starting a new chapter, I don't think I would have had her at that point where she was even going to consider going through with our offer. So
that was a great learning experience for you. You know, hopefully y'all learn something from this, or you get inspired from this interview. You know, because it just shows that, you know, you got to have the will. You got to stick with these people, and you can't give up. You know, it's not over until it's over. You know, if you got a deal that's going to fall through, deals fall through.
Correct.
But luckily, we were able to save this one. Now, you had these 3 deals in the last 2 weeks. Let's talk about what you got going on also in real estate. So you were able to quit your job.
I was, yes. Hey, entrepreneur.
All right, so let's talk about how, you know, you basically worked these last 10, 11 months to reach this point, and, you know, what made you finally make that decision and say, hey, I want to turn my back on corporate America?
So, being that I was doing this part-time, and I saw that I made pretty much what I made at a full-time job doing this part-time with no experience.
Right.
I was like, I can only imagine what I'll make, you know, doing this full-time. And not only that, I pretty much got to the point that I wanted to have freedom. Like, I wanted to have time to make plans for myself, you know, and with doing wholesaling, I was able to purchase my first investment property. It was a huge experience, and I was definitely excited.
Right.
Now at this point, I could say that sky's the limit for wholesaling.
Okay. So that's great. You put in the hard work, so now you're full time, and I think you'll be great at it. You know, you took your baby steps. You had to crawl before you walk, but now I think you're at the point to where you can definitely get deals on the regular. So not only you quit your job, but you were also able during the process, you know, of starting out and wholesaling, you were able to buy an investment property.
Correct.
So how has that been?
It's been pretty good. I can say I'm a landlord.
Right.
I mean, you know, real life monopoly, but it feels good.
So you got your first investment property, and how has it been far as, you know, like you see it on TV, you know, you see these shows, people fixing up properties, selling them, whatever, like based on your own personal experience, tell us, like, how is it? Like, is it a lot more than what people think it is, or you finally got it done. By the way, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, you
Correct.
finally got it done. You got tenants. It was a buy and hold.
Yes.
Talk about how the whole process of buying it, closing, the repairs, getting it prepped, for the tenant. How was that experience?
Let me tell you, I don't believe everything I see on TV. 'Cause
Right.
It's really not it.
Right.
But buying it was seeing that amount of money come out of my account, but it was very rewarding.
Right.
I'll say that much. Prepping it, had a little hiccup.
Right.
We're not going to talk about that, but we did.
Right.
But a lot of unexpected expenses occurred, and I was honestly not prepared for it. But I had support, so that made it a lot easier. I learned how to paint. I can cut and stuff. I learned how to paint, and it was fun because I always wanted to do it. I still didn't get a piece of paint in my lock, but it's here and there. But it was definitely an enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Okay. So, bam, there goes. So you've been working hard. The hard work has been paying off. Now, I want you to give something for the ladies out there, because they don't think. I get a lot of DMs, and I see it a lot on social media. They think it's tough to get into the house flipping business, into the wholesale business. Now, don't get me wrong, it is a male-dominated space. But you being a woman, like, what do you want to say to inspire all the women out there that are on the fence, or they're having doubts? Like, what do you want to say to them about this business?
Let me tell y'all now, y'all can do it. I did it, and I'm still gonna do it. It's definitely a male-dominated field, but with us being a woman, there's leverage, And a lot of times, especially what I learned with him, you'll get a seller on the phone. They may not want to talk to a man, but the minute they hear a female voice, it's on go.
Right.
Be optimistic, go against the grain. A lot of times people are going to tell you not to do it.
Right.
Stick to the clerical, because that was my background, customer service and whatnot. And I was told I didn't know how to do sales, but I already knew I can. And sure enough, I'm showing them that I can do it. And listen, if y'all have any questions, I was coached by Mr. I Trap Houses. But sky's the limit. I'm telling y'all, sky's the limit.
All right. So basically, as a woman, you feel like, hey, you have an advantage.
Sure do.
You have an advantage, which I see. I could tell from personal experience. I can talk to a seller and they'll hang up, or they won't give me the time of day. She'll call the same seller and they'll have a whole conversation for 20 minutes. So, ladies, just don't think that you can't do it. It is a male-dominated space, but hard, consistent work. All right, hard, consistent work. Last, how can they get a hold of you? How can they reach you? Give out your social media handles, because a lot of people gonna see this video.
Well, y'all can find me on Facebook. GeGeBuysFlorida. You can find me on Instagram, GeGeBuysFlorida. Okay. And that's GEGE, not GIGI. And you can also find me on Twitter, GeGeBuysFlorida.
Okay. So there you have it, man. Thanks. Everybody was waiting to hear your story, so here you have it. I'd like to thank all my followers and subscribers on all my social media platforms. I just launched my OnlyFans. The link is below in the description. It's free. So go sign up. I'm giving out sauce. I'm giving out game there. All right. So I want y'all to hit the like button. You know what I mean? Hit the like button. Subscribe, share, follow, all that. Shout out to my video guy, Mr. J Dot on IG. All right. Okay.
Street gossip.
Yeah, street gossip. My bad. Street gossip. Y'all go follow him too. He shoots all my videos and does all my visuals. So. Thanks again for checking us out, and y'all have a good one.
Oh yeah, D's over designer. If y'all can't tell. Woo woo.